Manchester United's winning run comes to a halt against Nottingham Forest, but they do pick up a scrappy draw in a 2-2 result at the City Ground. Let's break it down, sir. It wasn't great, to be honest. United had been on a 3-run win streak, obviously kind of cemented around that Liverpool win at Anfield. I thought Brighton, we definitely were the better team, got a big win there. Could have gone the other way as well, but yesterday, the Forest game was definitely a come down for United. We talked about this, an opponent who's going to let United have more of the possession, which is not a position we wanted to be in. We've been really effective on the counter in these last few games, and they sat back. A lot of players behind the ball. We had a hard time breaking them down. At the same time, they were able to get behind at United, and they really capitalized on it in the opening 5 minutes of the second half. They scored twice in about 2 minutes. Absolute capitulation, but United did fight back with Ahmad getting a late tying goal, a nice one, an absolute screamer from outside the box, and we had a chance to win it, shockingly enough. But I don't think it was a great performance from United, but I do think it was a decent result, that is. A decent point on the road. I know Forest have had their woes. They're in the relegation zone, but Dyche is back in. They showed some fight. They were up for it, but United definitely had a come down versus the games we've seen over the last few game weeks. How are we feeling? How are we doing?
Hardman Dyche on the touchline for Nottingham Forest. Look, 2-2. It's a draw. It's away. It was a gritty away performance. Wasn't pretty. Doesn't need to be ultimately for this manager and this team. We're just looking for results. And to concede 2 in the way we did, I didn't like how United were bending in the way at the end of the first half, and then we came out early in the second to concede 2. But the fact that we didn't concede a third and the fact that we got back in the game says a lot about the resilience in this team. They're fighting for the manager. They're fighting for the badge. It's not always pretty. This system is something we're getting used to. The manager bringing on a defender in the 68th minute when we need a goal is something I need to get used to. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But look, this manager figured it out. I think this United team should be beating Nottingham Forest handily if you look at the players we have. But they showed some grit. I thought Lemon stood tall. I thought we had a lot of good performances all around. This is a team performance. We're starting to see a team emerge under Ruben Amorim. I still think we're playing on hard mode in the league with this system. I think Sean Dyche, the 2 banks of 4 he showed you, Nottingham Forest packing in, come get it. Quick bang on the counter, set pieces, get in the mud. That's what he wanted to do. And this United team fought back. It's a draw. It's a positive draw. You got 3 wins and a draw in our last 4, and it's all about the next game. It's on to Cincinnati. It's Spurs away. It's another away performance. It's Tottenham. We should be handling them easily. So win at Tottenham, this is nothing. So this team will retool and go back again and fight the Cockerels, sir.
Cockerels of North London. Positives to take for sure. Like you said, this is a result that would have turned, I think, completely differently last season. I think we lose this game.
Exactly.
Like the manager said, I think we lose this game by multiple goals after conceding twice in the opening 5 minutes of the second half. We did fight back. It wasn't vintage. We somehow had a chance to win it. But talking about the negatives, I had flashbacks from Bilbao because we were chasing the game for basically this whole second half, and we still had the extra defender, which was kind of nonsensical. They let us have the ball.
You got to get over that.
I know,
we got to get over that as a fan base. We have to.
It's like, why can't you pull a defender and put on a Mason Mount?
It's hard mode. Like I said,
I know, but why?
Look at it.
Why, John? Why?
It's hard mode. This manager is going to do it this way, and these players need to figure it out. But shout out to the midfield, Bruno, Casemiro doing a job. I feel like the one thing fans can't talk about is what happens with that Casemiro injury. If he will go down. It's a matter, we've seen it the last couple of seasons, even under Erik ten Hag, he will go down, and how does this team react then? I feel like we're getting away with it a little bit because you have these 2 great players in the midfield. I'm really worried about that, sir. The house is, it's on stilts. It's on stilts about that midfield, and Casemiro's doing great. We need him to do great. He's making a lot of money on this contract, and the fact he can do it at this age when a lot of people wrote him off is great. And let's get into that 11. Let's break down Nottingham Forest versus Manchester United. We had Lamens in net, Shaw, DeLitt, Euro back 3, Diallo left wing back, Bruno cast midfield we were just talking about, Diallo right wing back, Cunha and Mbeumo, Šeško up front. It's the 3 freshman United signings playing at the top. How do we feel about this 11?
All of our 4 summer signings in the squad. It was the same 11 from Brighton's match in the past weekend. So that was, I think, one of the first times that's happened under Ruben Amorim's tenure. They're, nitpicky things. I think Shaw has stepped up in the last few weeks. Diallo still feels like a weakness here. I don't really get it. His, lack of connective tissue going forward, I think, has been evident considering how inform the right side is getting with Mbeumo and Ahmad building a relationship. But either way, I think it's good to have some kind of consistency from game to game. So I was happy to see at least, hey, he's sticking with something. Let's give it a go. They did win last week, and let's get into it, sir. And it was a tough match from the moment the whistle blew because Forest was really looking to get at United. Obviously, the Reds were intent on countering. We had a hard time doing so because they were always with like at least 8 players behind the ball and defending as well. But there was an early chance, relatively early chance, 15th minute. Nice turn and shoot from Šeško. We were kind of picking up scraps at the moment, but it was good intent from the Slovenian striker and showing just how quickly he can get the ball out of his foot and how much power he has behind that big boot of his.
No, he's a great player. For people going at Šeško, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing, Jon Snow, because he's got the raw talent, and it's almost, we were watching the game together, I was telling you, you got too many cooks in the kitchen in the front three. Like, you can have an Mbeumo Šeško situation, but to add Cunha there, they haven't quite gelled. The right-hand side you were talking about is clicking, but Šeško isn't getting crosses in from the wing backs, which is ultimately what should be happening. He's not getting those touchline pullbacks either. So he's kind of running into the Hojlund issue where he's not getting a lot of service, but I feel like he's making his link-up play, his pace in behind is right. He makes the right runs. It's going to come. He's going to break through. It's going to be Šeško is all next year. If you look at him, he needs a year to acclimate. You got to be friendly to the kid here. 20th minute, another great chance. Good ball over the top from Mbeumo. His touch let him down. This one he wants back, but he's young. It's going to come. 29th, Ahmad getting involved on the right-hand side. Test the keeper with outside-the-box curler. I thought he maybe should have played in Mbeumo here. The Ahmad and Mbeumo, that's the best thing United has going in attack down the right-hand channel.
No, absolutely. You could say about the lack of the left to kind of come together and figure out how to play together. I think a lot of that's because Diallo and the wingback position is not coming off from an attacking perspective, but Mbeumo and Ahmad, they're linking up well. He was a little selfish in this opportunity, but then United in the 34th minute, all of a sudden, sir, what are we, Arsenal? We're a set-piece team. We're scoring, I think, the second most in the league, and it was the Brazilian who once again is showing his worth, even on high wages, sir.
Went against Forest last week at Bournemouth, and they paid the price then, and they paid the price today. Casemiro. Well, Sean Dyche was absolutely furious a week ago when a corner was wrongly given at ball.
Hey, people are saying the ball wasn't out. I don't think it was, but United, we're not getting.
Bump and take, out.
It looked like it was.
It was close. We've gotten bit by that before a million times. Nobody cares when it goes against
tracking
United.
That. So, whatever. Corner, great goal, Casemiro, great header. Aim it down, kids. Aim it down off the ground. Goes in. United up 1-0. I kind of felt like, this was maybe against the run of play. United weren't creating too much, but this is a great goal, and we needed it because this is a gritty away win. This is a Nottingham Forest with a new manager bounce with Sean Dyche, and we needed this goal to get it.
And it was a big goal. It was a big goal once again from Casemiro in the air. He's shown that time and time again. He's very, very effective with that noggin of his. And it was a good goal to get kind of against the run of play. All of our chances were kind of half chances. They were getting behind us, but the defense actually stood strong. There was a moment that I think was one of the most dangerous in the first half. They put a ball across in the 40th minute in our 6-yard box. Nobody was really there, but it was one of those diagonal balls where there's a couple players running on who have a chance to slam it home. That was basically it from the first half. Like you said, United were tested, but we kept kind of having big defensive moments bail us out. DeLitt and Shaw, I think especially, were very solid in the first half to keep us in it.
Yeah, watching the game together, after this goal, immediately we had another great chance, and then Forest started building into it. They couldn't do a lot with it, but they had numbers coming into our third. They were kind of putting the foot on the accelerator, so the fact we got into half up 1-0 was good, but I was worried about coming out at half because Forest, the tables had kind of tilted towards Forest.
You're right to be worried.
I went to you, I said, I'm worried about how we finished that half, and then ultimately, we would get the Gibbs White goal, and these are ugly-looking goals.
Boy, delightful ball that was. Yates. Gibbs White! His first Premier League goal of the season to equalise for Nottingham.
Hate to see that. Just beat the header. Lamens had a hand, and then in short succession, Forest would get their second goal.
They got the
50th
assist.
minute.
Oh, we're bang-banging
Remember,
them.
didn't start the game.
This one's even worse.
Igor Jesus is there. It's loose. It's in. Phenomenal from Nottingham Forest.
Delo's benched. next game for me if I'm a coach and that goes in. I mean, maybe he's worried about the penalty there, but just the lack of urgency in the box. Got some teeth there. We're giving up the attacking threat to get. I guess he defends well, but this is also like, how many defenders do we have defending that one ball in from the set piece? It's like, this is bad. It's bad. We have so many defenders on the pitch. We can't defend well. To concede in bunches, brutal. Like, this is the low. Glad we fought back here, but this is a low, right?
No, I mean, the first goal from Ahmad is like, you have a wing back who's naturally a winger who's 5'7", guarding the far post, and he just gets beat in the air as he would. It's a good header. Not much Lemens can do. The second one, this is us. This is United. This is the worst of us. Best of us, worst of us is like drop our heads a little bit. Everybody's ball watching, like you said. We had numbers in the box. I think there are 5 players right there around Lemens, and everybody's watching the ball instead of watching what's going to happen next. The low most culpable. But his offensive was bad today too, because he had a couple really good chances to play in. I think Cunha one instance, and he always takes that out of the box ripper that goes in 1 out of 20, but he can't help himself.
No, the attacking plays end with the low. Like a bad pass, that's a good way to put it. Bad shot. To me, Dogu is a better player. Like when we were playing well against Arsenal in preseason, Dogu was a player. I don't understand this Delo thing. Manager addressed it post game. This is where you get to the Amorim system and say, hey, we're getting Delo. Like the whole idea of playing wing backs is to get Delo in dangerous areas, to put in dangerous crosses for a Šeško or cut it back to Acuna. We're not seeing that. We are seeing that on the right-hand side. There were certain patterns. I was telling you, like, hey, you play this system to get the overload with Ahmad and Mbeumo. We saw that a few times, like with obviously Ahmad's shot. The goal would come off a set piece. But, we should be seeing these patterns of play in these areas playing this way, and Delo is not adding to that. So why is he on the pitch? And so, we could go against Delo all day, but let's finish up this game. 54th minute, great ball from Ahmad to a Casemiro. This is what we're talking about. Great pattern of play there. 60th minute, Bruno hits the post. Close. This was sort of like a slow motion play. Like the goalie was blocked. Bang off the bar. 68th, Hudson-Odoi. This one I thought was going to go in. Lemens, to be fair, was covering it. It did just whisker past the post. And then we would have some subs. We had Dogu come on in the 68th for Delo. Obviously, the manager agrees with me slating him. And then we have Mazraoui come on in the 77th for Lenny Euro. Manchester United down a goal. Manager brings on 2 defenders. It's one of those things where it just does not compute in my brain.
Does not compute.
We're watching the game, and I'm talking to you, and I'm pointing at the time. And it's a 70th minute, and we're down a goal, and we're getting defenders on the field. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I think, attack, attack, attack. You take a defender off, you put an attacker on. Sir Alex Ferguson that's how he did it. Kitchen sink. Just put on attackers until you get the last late minute winner. We did, but I'm just highlighting that because it is an interesting habit from Ruben Amorim that I just don't understand.
I'm with you. I have my frustrations from that very winnable final. I felt like it was more of the same. It's like you have a team that's willing to sit back, let you have possession. For some reason, you have an extra defender on. It's not like we had injuries. Then we had Eriksson on the bench today. We had Mount or Xerxes or Kobe. There's plenty of players that you could put on to offer an attacking threat. Now we ended up being bailed out in the 81st minute. This is a little bit of us.
No, it's just worth talking about that habit.
Scoring off set. No. That is the most frustrating thing when it's like put another attacker on, put your team in a position to win a game, to snatch a point. 81st minute, Amad Diallo. A moment of brilliance, but we didn't create enough chances, just like we didn't create enough chances against Spurs in that final because we had to die on the vine about the system.
All right, let's get into it. 81st minute. What a goal from Amad Diallo. What a player.
With the corner for Manchester United. And they get the first contact. There's a swing at that from Dorgu. And it's in! What a brilliant strike from Amad! It's the leveller for Manchester United.
This is insane. What a volley. I thought Forest did great to clear it.
Yeah.
And
they were hard to break down all game.
To hit this first time from that position is incredible. I think he's an incredible player. The fact that he's playing out of position, speaks to what a player he is. Another guy Eric Ten Hag hated including the starting like worldly left back Fernandez.
We sold for nothing.
Real Madrid who just
sold
hit,
for nothing.
Just hit like a worldly of a goal.
That was a goal.
But, like 94th minute, we had another great opportunity. Ahmad was cleared off the line, but that is all she wrote. It was 2-2. 15 shots for each, 6 on target for United, 59% of the ball for Manchester United. Again, Dyche giving us more of the ball. Come and get it. I thought this would be a challenge. It was a challenge. That's what they're going to make you fight in the mud. That's what Sean Dyche wants to do. And United come up with a draw, which honestly exceeds my expectations. I thought they'd get us. I said, I actually thought we would win in my prediction, but I thought this would be harder for United. I didn't think we would have this extra fight. And I just like to see United maybe create a little more, be a little more aggressive from the coach, bringing on attackers. But, I'm drawing at straws. We've won 3 of our last 4 with 1 draw. We have Spurs away. We go there, we win, we're buzzing. So that's what it's really about. And if you don't lose, it's a good result.
No, there's things to be frustrated about. You felt winnable in the second half. It felt like we could have really kind of turned the screws a little bit if we had put more attackers on, but we did get a big point. And I think in a game where, if you look at last season, we lose this game, we probably lose this game by a decent margin. So it's a big point. You stay unbeaten. I think that's important. We didn't hang our heads. I just think the manager needs to give his team the best chance to succeed. But hey, we have to figure out a way to beat teams that are going to sit behind the ball and let us have possession, because that is the weakness right now. We seem to be able to figure it out when the other team has a lot of the possession. We're a counter team. I'm okay with that for now. Obviously, that's not what we saw against Arsenal, but it's effective. I think we kind of got away with them, but it's important for teams to get away with ones, because good teams do, and we haven't in the past, at least recently.
Yeah, if you look at the advanced stats, that's where the cracks are going to show. 1.9 XG to Forest to 1.1 to United. The field tilt all Forest, 59% attacking threats in the final third. They were coming at us in the final third. Defensive action height, they were 50 versus our 47. They were playing high line as well. They were really compact when we were attacking them, but they created more ultimately. And when you look at it, United probably didn't have their best day, but when you're playing away, it's all about just getting a result. And so some people have valid criticisms of this match, but it's about surviving another day. It's about this is a team. Same 11. We're seeing a team. We're seeing the players fight. We saw the back against the wall with the manager, Liverpool away. And I feel like it's almost about just getting results and getting a core group with the culture. And then we might see that like Arsenal level football again in this system. I just think we're not quite ready for that, but the results will help us build that team, build some momentum into our next fixtures. Let's see what the manager had to say. We could not win, but we would not lose. I think we could have won, but let's hear what he has to say.
Good evening, Ruben. What were your thoughts on how that game kind of went for you?
I think we lost control of the game for 5 minutes, and we paid the price. I think we did some things well. I think also that our level of energy, we drop a little bit, and when our team drop a little bit the energy, you can feel it. We can play well, but it's not in full power. But my feeling is that the players really tried. And they tried during the week and they tried today. In the past, if we had this kind of bad 5 minutes and we suffered 2 goals, we didn't recover. Today is a different feeling. You can sense that we could not win this game, but we are not going to lose, and that is a feeling that a big team sometimes have to have. We had a big opportunity to win in the end, but we dropped. My feeling is we dropped 2 points here and should have done better.
The positive, as you mentioned, is the resilience, I suppose, that the team has built over the last 12 months, not just today, but maybe recent weeks as well. How has the team been able to build that?
It's how to do it. It's not. I think last year we suffered a lot, and we want to win games and to overcome these moments. But now we know how to do it, and they know that we just need to be inside the game until the final 10 minutes of the game, and that is part of football. In the past, we could lost everything in the positions, the way we played the game. Today was not.
All right, sir, what do you make of the manager's post-match press conference?
I mean, I think some of it's fair. I think, I think if we had won this game, we would have kind of snatched it. This would have been a smash and grab if we had gotten that 94th minute goal from Ahmad. A little bit, unlucky for Nottingham Forest on that occasion. I do think there's a resiliency building this team. I definitely agree with that. Like in previous instances, we would have hung our heads and just gotten shellacked for the remainder. We fought in. I just don't think he gave the team the best position to win. Like, I think we could have won this game. I think Forest are gettable. They haven't found their mojo yet under Dyche. They're grasping. They're looking for something. They're looking for a big moment. That's what this game could have been. And I think we had the players to bring them off the bench. And I don't think you had to make the last sub like the 68th minute with a defender for a defender. But, some things are true, some things are not. What do you think, sir?
Let's get into the last word, sir.
Okay,
Let's get into the last word. You give us the good on this match, the good on the Nottingham Forest.
From a positive vein, it was a hard-fought point when we really didn't play great. And I think the team showed resiliency to shake off that opening 5 minutes, second half. We nearly really, completed the smash and grab. Ahmad got his goal. I actually thought Sesko showed the promise that he will grow into. And Mbeumo and Cunha were kind of shut down, but, they'll have their moments against the right opponents. And I thought the defenders, if you look at this game, Dyche, Shaw was really good. Yoro had a decent match as well. I think there were dangerous moments that kind of a less on their toes defense would have gotten picked apart when they countered us in this game. So that's the positive I'm taking out of it. I think it is a hard fought point. But there were still plenty of issues, and let's get into those issues, sir, because they existed and they're there.
The bad. This is a bad Nottingham Forest team that is 19th in the league on their third manager. We went there and they had created more XG. Didn't look great. We had to, set pieces is how we're going to be scoring goals. Casemiro with the corner, Ahmad again corner. The open play, the way we are set up at this time, we're not seeing the overloads in the areas that are going to create the repeatable attacking patterns that are going to allow us to create more XG against a team like Nottingham Forest who wants to pack it in. Where a Ole counter ball is ultimately what this is. We're defending with 7. We're hoofing it up to Mbeumo, trying to find that right-hand channel with Ahmad.
Like Rashford was.
And someone like Sean Dyche can figure it out real quick and almost beat us. And so that is tough when you're a one-trick team. We saw Eric Ten Hag. He was a one-trick pony, and he got figured out. Amorim went one trick for 3 games. Dyche figured it out, and what do you think Tottenham's going to do? So it's going to be different. We have great players on our team, and that amounts to Ahmad getting us this 1 point, and that's always been the difference. But I feel like sometimes those players hide the actual fundamentals. And I'm looking towards preseason and Arsenal showing us, hey, that was the system thriving. That was exciting, electric football, allowed us to create a lot of chances and attack in behind. And this is a team sort of in transition. I feel like we kind of got punched in the mouth. We're getting some results and we're figuring it out, but I want us to continue to progress on the fundamentals while getting results. So is it 1 point away? Fine for me. Absolutely. But we need to start figuring this thing out and start playing like we did early to start the year.
Because we know this team could be a lot better, and we have not seen that same Manchester United side. I think he has modified certain things. We're definitely not playing the same back 5 now that we were playing in August when the season started against Arsenal. So either way, it's a point. It's a point that could have been a loss, and I think we just, like you said, on to Cincinnati, on to the next one, Tottenham Hotspurs. It's a big one because this is a fucking grudge match. I hate Spurs now. They're like, I hate the team. They beat us in that final. I hate Spurs. I wasn't that passionate about them. I hate them. I hate them so much.
This is a blip on the radar as it relates to this team trending upwards to figuring this system out under this manager and going on and challenging for Europe. And I hope it's a blip in the radar, but there's a few things about it that I'm starting to see that get a few yellow lights. I'm starting to get a little worried, and I hope it doesn't rear its head because we are a better side than most of the teams in this league. And we should be, if you look at our team and our roster and our talent and the wages we pay, we should be competing for European football. No doubt about it. No doubt. I feel like Amorim with this system can put it on hard mode a bit, and that could push us down the table. But I hope that isn't the case, and I hope we get a big win against Tottenham because you're looking on the touchline about a manager that we might have hired. So let's get into it. Is the Tottenham preview. Manchester United versus Tottenham, Saturday, November 8th, 4:30 a.m. Wake up on the West Coast. You know that you're worried about that one. Whenever we have to get before 30 on the West Coast, it's usually a real miserable fixture to add to it, but we're going to ignore that, sir. Give us our weather in London.
Sir, it's going to be very easy going. Nice fall day, mid-50s, clear and dry, so it should be good weather at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's talk a little bit about our foes, our opponents. Tottenham Hotspur, we know about them, sir. We played them 4 times last year, and they beat us every time. Founded in 1882, nicknamed Spurs and the Lily Whites. Home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, of course, in 2019. That's just under 63,000-person stadium. They're owned by the Enick Group. Daniel Levy was, of course, the longtime chairman. He stepped down in September. I can only imagine what he's going to be involved in next. And obviously, they're known as a commercially ambitious club, leveraging a world-class venue for match day and non-match day revenue. Their heyday was really in the 60s. And at the moment, let's talk about the 60s. They won the 60 and 61 double. They won the European Cup Winners' Cup in 63, UEFA Cups in 72 and 84. And they've been, of course, a mainstay in the late teens. They had a real chance to win against Leicester City in their invincible season. Not the invincible season, the impossible season.
Champions League final with Pochettino.
That too. They bottled a couple.
Yeah, exactly. So they've always gotten there, not gotten through until they played. Was it Manchester United, the team that used to, win a lot of trophies and titles, major trophies and titles, until we lost to Tottenham in a final?
Whimper.
I forget that, and it was we don't need to open that.
Where was it?
Well, let's put it this way: if you're Manchester United and you're these group of players, you'd like to think you have some bulletin board material for this match, and you like to think you're going to show up big time and put in a performance. So let's hope we do that. Tottenham coach Thomas Frank, the Dane that United thought about hiring, didn't hire, and he's moved on to Tottenham. Tell us about us.
So they fired their manager after he won a cup, unlike what we did a year earlier with Erik ten Hag in the FA Cup. So Thomas Frank, of course, born in 1973. He's the 52-year-old Danish ex-Brentford manager known for adaptable structures. Great hair. Probably the best hair in the league from a coaching perspective. Big on data-informed preparation, which is also a Brentford thing.
Chews a lot of gum.
Chews a lot of gum, hard nose. He was obviously appointed this summer, multi-year deal with a mandate to blend front foot control and defensive stability. So they wanted to not finish 17th. They, of course, finished below Manchester United in the table last season. His tactics: he likes to play a base 4-3-3 that can morph into a 3-2-5 in possession and a 5-4-1 when they're protecting a lead. Out of possession, they prioritize a compact mid-block, with pressure triggers on backward passes. And on the same side, progression mixes patient circulation and quick diagonals into the channels. Transitions are sharp both ways. They like to regain and release aims with early balls into pace and third-man runs. So I think they're going to have more of the ball this time. We're going to let them have possession in their house. It's an opportunity for Manchester United to once again actually play the playbook that's worked quite well. So look for us to get over the top with Mbeumo and Ahmad on that right side. That's been kind of our key to success, especially against Brighton and Liverpool. Recent record, sir. Brutal. Let's talk about it. How have we done recently against the Lily Whites? It's not been great.
Lads, it's Tottenham. Lifetime 96 won, drawn 51, lost 58. Last 5, lost 4, drawn 1. Obviously, we know this is insane. The fact that 20 years ago we started watching this team, we never even thought about Tottenham, and then you're looking at yikes.
Yikes! Yeah, 5 in a row would be something.
It's almost for. This you have to win this game. You have to win this game. You have to win this. This is a must win, because if you think about these players losing that final, there's no way that we don't show up and play our best this weekend. We
better.
You have to show it. That's what it's all about, sir. Summer signings. Give us our transfers here from Tottenham Hotspur.
So they had a bit of an active summer. They went a mix of Premier League proven and non-Premier League proven. Most notably was Xavi Simons coming in from Leipzig, highly rated attacking midfielder. He has not come off yet, but Kudus was a great transfer from West Ham. He's killing it. I think he's got 6 assists already in the Premier League. Paulinho was also the one that you and I wanted because defensive stability coming from Bayern.
€5 million loan fee for a CDM. What are we doing?
But hey, Casemiro scored. And then Kolo Mune.
No, this is
that's a big transfer.
Why don't you
smart?
Obviously,
smart.
There's a United premium that we would have to pay to get him, but EPL proven, flopped in Germany.
Classic.
You put him on the bench, and we have an option in case Casemiro gets injured. Here he's not the best player in the league, but it's good. This is good business, and I feel United not getting a CDM option on loan. Like this is wheelhouse. EPL proven, 30-year-old, loan fee, like cover the way. Like we needed an option.
But they wouldn't do it because they have Ugarte. Like, they will never do like, oh, we already have a spot on the roster. We're doing the roster management. They don't want to.
I got a news flash.
Yeah.
Ugarte ain't playing, so let's go to signing of the summer.
Player to watch.
Kudus.
I mean, he's definitely there signing in the summer. Mohamed Kudus. Great transfer. I think the move is you go EPL proven. Like I said, I think he's 5 assists in his opening 10 games in the league. Let's get into the league form. They're above us in the table. They've been a little up and down because they're playing in cup competitions. So one thing that should go for United is they're playing in Europe on Tuesday. So they're not going to have a week rest like we will. They've been playing games. They've played the EFL Cup. Talk about their recent record, sir. They have been winning the league, but they've had some tough times in the Cups.
Lost to Villa. They drew Monaco, beat Everton, lost to Newcastle in EFL. Used to play in that competition. Chelsea beat them at the weekend. They have Copenhagen. Are they away? Copenhagen? Home at Copenhagen. That's actually not too shabby. And then they have us. So, look, they also are going to be look ahead to the North London Derby versus Arsenal. And they got PSG. So you think United, this one, we should be the trap game for Tottenham because we have a full week's rest. We're coming off this draw, and we have a little bit of revenge for the Europa League final. So I'm thinking I like this spot for Manchester United. Let's get into their starting 11. Polina's playing. Van der Ven. Porro's doing great. Sarr, Bentancur, Kudus, Bergvall, Kolo, Mani. Never heard of him, but I guess he's
a hot shot from PSG.
But look, again, this is one of those things where I said it. We played Liverpool. Team's not that great. Like this team is not like
it's not Gareth Bale. It's not Gareth Bale. It's not. They don't have Harry Kane.
Look at it, Manchester United. That's when you look at Nottingham Forest. Manchester United should show up and beat them. This. Like maybe we're soft. Maybe there's something wrong with the way the formation. The team we have should beat this team.
Are better,
like odds-on favorite all day, every day. Look, Bergvall. Like, come on. Like, let's be honest. It's like Cunha, Sesko, Mbeumo, Bruno, Casemiro. Like, go down the line. It's like, fine, Lamens isn't like the strongest keeper, but like, look at Dyche. We have better players. So there is a little bit of like, why do we think we can't beat these teams sometimes? Like, it's a little insane. We should be look at this. Look at this 11. Run it back. I got no changes.
Dogu maybe for Diallo. That's the only one you can make, and he won't make it. Because he's going to prefer the senior leadership of Diallo, even though I think
that's
Diallo
fine.
makes
I don't hate it.
No.
You're on a run. Run it back. So we're suggesting running back the same team against Nottingham Forest. Lamens, Shaw, Delit, Euro, Diallo, Bruno, Cass, Diallo, Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško. The only option would be Mason Mount. But
I was going to say Mount. Because Mount would be good for the press. Yeah, I don't know if he's ready to start. But his press would be very valuable.
Mount does come in. Šeško goes to the bench. That's an obvious choice.
Right.
We look... I don't love it. I like a number 9. I'm a Manchester United fan. You need a number 9. But like as far as how we look this year, Cunha, Mount, and Mbeumo looks the best we've looked, and you have to play that way. And because of the flexibility, the fluidity up top, bookies odds. What do we got?
It's a tight one, sir. Spurs are the slight underdogs at home, plus 170, plus 250 for the draw, and plus 145 for Manchester United away. I believe I am up. I am first. What do the fans have? They think it's going to be a tight one. Tight one.
MUFCpredict.com. Check it out. You want to join the prediction game. Fight us and all the fans signing up. It looks to be a draw. The community is a little cagey about the Tottenham Hotspur away match. Maybe that's on the back of the draw against Nottingham Forest. 43% say draw, 36% say win, 21% say loss. Alex, you are up. I am winning in the competition, but you did edge 3 points. You got the draw against Forest.
Every dog has his day.
Tottenham, what do you say?
I think it's the exact same scoreline from the Europa League final, just reversed. 0-1, 1-0 Manchester United. That is, we're going to get a tight win. I think Lamens is going to have his moment and just get tested, but we get him on the counter. This would be a game where if we could turn it over up high, we should get some good chances. John's calling the 1-1 draw.
I think it's
that sounds about right.
We should win. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think we're going to out XG them. We're going to play much better, but I feel like, we'll make a mistake, set piece, something like that. We'll let him in it. It's a draw, but still good form for United. 3 wins, 2 draws.
You take it.
It's a tough part of the schedule. We're still in the mix in the table, and yes, we we will take it, sir. Any other last notes on the Tottenham preview?
Big game. It's a big game before international break. It's important. That moment, you always want to avoid being the team in crisis at any given moment. I think Liverpool are out of that. Now it's Wolves. They fire their manager. They're the team in crisis. And you don't want to be that before the international break. So worst case scenario, we draw this game. We can't lose 5 in a row to Tottenham Hotspur. Like, come on. Let's make it happen.
Come on, lads. Come on. All right, let's get into a little bit of United in the news. We're talking The Athletic just dropped a big article from Andy Mitten, friend of the podcast. Andy.
Friend of the pod.
We've had it out.
You've had it out. Tell them about that story. So that's one of the greats. One of the great ARD stories.
The Andy Mitten stories. He did an Ed Woodward softball interview. I tweeted him and called him out. He blocked us. Then I saw him selling the fanzine outside Crystal Palace Stadium, and then confronted him like a Curb Your Enthusiasm moment where
great.
He started I told him,
"What are you doing?" I turned around.
John's
arguing with Andy Mitten. I'm like, deal with our tickets.
And then he turns around, and me and Andy Mitten in the street are like going at it, like yelling at each other, like kind of like because he got really upset with, because I was like, hey, you blocked me on the internet. He's like, comes, and I was like, hey, man, I was just saying, like, maybe ask Woodward a couple.
Didn't you call him out for the? You called him out for the Woodward.
The Woodward, it was but he's also saying, he said, what do you want me to do?
It's true.
Which is like, yeah, he's got to ask easy questions to get the interview, and like, this is how he makes his living. Totally understand. So I like Andy Mitten. I think he also came out with some. He kind of balances club fluff with some hard hitting. I think the Rashford was a little that was pro club, but he kind of said, "Hey, a lot of people have had problems with Rashford." I thought he kind of went out on a limb. He got a lot of stick for that, but I think he was telling us straight. Whenever he shoots us straight, I take what Andy Mitten says at the truth. But there's like this article with the Amorim appointment. The title is The Secret Meetings Behind Ruben Amorim's Manchester United Appointment 1 year on, and this kind of goes through the whole Erik ten Hag to Ruben Amorim appointment, describing it from the United perspective behind the scenes. If you want to read it, you can get at The Athletic. Obviously, there's a paywall, but I think it's pretty cheap to sign up for the first year. As far as things we found out in the article, the United board came in to the new ownership and they made a short list. So they said, hey, get me analytics. As far as Ten Hag was underperforming ahead of the final, and they were like, hey, we got to have a meeting. We got to think about who the next manager is going to be because this guy ain't it. So before the FA Cup final, it was accurate. Ten Hag's job was sort of on the line. They were looking at other candidates. And that list, the qualifications for the list was, we want someone who has EPL experience and can play 4-3-3 and all the advanced stats show that with our roster they would do well. So that was sort of the lens of the search, and as a result of that, they got Thomas Tuchel, Pochettino, De Zerbi, Thomas Frank, Marco Silva, and Graham Potter. Those were the 6 that came. They said, hey, data nerds, give us the top names. And essentially it came down to
Tuchel and De Zerbi.
Like Tuchel and De Zerbi. Tuchel had just been fired from Bayern, and he was a little cagey on coming to United.
Right.
So they never made a financial offer. That part of the article, I think, is bullshit.
Yeah, so do I.
So there's a lot of stuff here that you have to kind of read the tea leaves because they're basically like, oh, they made it sound like Tuchel didn't want a job. I think Tuchel, he came out and said he wanted the United job. He flirted with United. I feel like they thought it would cost too much money, and then they went for De Zerbi. They offered De Zerbi the job and a contract. He denied the job. He wanted more money, and Ineos didn't counter. This is kind of confusing, and this is after the FA Cup final. So when they're doing these talks and offers, this is after the FA Cup final when we're just waiting for them to fire Ten Hag, and they don't. And they're kind of playing like footsie with Tuchel and De Zerbi. The timing in this article is also very interesting.
It is.
The fact that just like, if you're going to make a call, you got to make it fast and you got to just go all in. Be like, and also, by the way, if I'm going to fire my manager, I'm going to know, and I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to know what they want. I'm going to know what the agent, what do they want? Are they available? I'm not going to talk to Tuchel if he's not available. I'm not going to talk to Zerbi if he's not available. I'm not going to talk to De Zerbi if I don't know his number.
You can't afford him, right?
Yes, it's a waste of time,
right?
Which is exactly what they did for 2 weeks, and then we all know they didn't counter De Zerbi. Then they went with like, oh, let's not fire. So this is where the spin zone of the article starts happening, where they're like, United felt that Ten Hag should be given another chance. And then when they fire him, they say that they knew the communication wasn't good. So like all the issues they knew were with Ten Hag existed, but they didn't act on them. And so he's trying to spin it in a way that makes the decision sound logical. Like, no, manager, we couldn't get anybody, Oh, actually, you didn't want to pay for anyone. And then you decided actually the cheap route would be keep Ten Hag. And so ultimately it came down to a financial decision with the 20 million or so, or 15 million we owed Ten Hag if we fired him. I think article doesn't mention that. Article doesn't mention the VIG about Ten Hag and how that probably played a role in the decision, and ultimately why finances could have been driving this poor manager call. So I feel like there was an effort here to sort of shine up the Ten Hag error.
As there would be, and shine up the Ineos error. I mean, the big telling thing, it's a very interesting article. It definitely has a certain amount of fluff, but it speaks to how all over the place United's ownership and structure has been, which we've seen over Ineos, right? Dan Ashworth in, Dan Ashworth out, Erik ten Hag in, Erik ten Hag out. It just like there was no consistency in the decision making. The mandate by which they wanted to approve and decide on a manager changed over the course of the summer, and you don't really know when it changed. It kind of feels like they wanted to get one of two managers even after the FA Cup final. They couldn't like rationalize the expense. They're like, fuck it, let's just run back Erik ten Hag. He won that cup. Maybe that'll galvanize something. And then that all fell apart, and then they were kind of left like spinning mid-season. I bet you a lot of those. Not all those. Some of those managers went, obviously. Pochettino went to the U.S. Tuchel went to England.
But that was after this period with Town. They had all these managers available, and they could have gotten
in the summer before they doubled down on Ten Hag.
No, yeah, before they doubled down. Like this was the moment that.
But in the fall, when things started falling apart, and they had to get Amorim because the options got a lot shorter. Right? A few of these guys went away.
Yeah. So before we get to the Amorim point of the article, I think it's really interesting to think about the Ten Hag, because this is where the error was made. The error was made where they didn't sack Ten Hag and then just find another it's like grow up, sack him, get another manager. Like, by the way, that list: Tuchel, Poch, Zerbi, Frank, Silva, Graham Potter, EPL proven, that play the exact way that the squad was developed for. Nobody can shake your head at that. Maybe Graham Potter would have been a bad decision, but if you went with Frank, Silva, Zerbi, Poch, or Tuchel, you really can't
cover your ass.
It's in the summer.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out, Ten Hag. All the new signings are going to be for the new manager, et cetera. Instead, they botched that. They tried to make it about money with De Zerbi or something. It didn't really. That's where I kind of look at the article to be like, come on. And then what's even crazier in this article is they don't mention Ashworth at all. They mention Ashworth, but they don't mention that Ashworth didn't want Amorim. Right? They didn't mention the whole jockeying for the next manager and how the director of football was like cut out. Like, I feel like that's the entire story here with Ruben Amorim is like Ashworth didn't think that we should head this way, and then Barada did, and then that was the infighting, and then ultimately Ashworth left right after Amorim was appointed. I feel like that's the entire story, but that's what United doesn't want out there, and that's why this is obviously like a pro United like sort of telling the press how we, from our point of view, non-controversially, how this appointment came, and as far as why we appointed Amorim, all of a sudden the article just has a right turn and says a further meeting in Barcelona was to discuss who the new coach would be. Quote, it was then the consensus the executives landed on Amorim with zero color.
Ratcliffe, dude.
Of
it's
how
all it's so
no, but so they literally talk about how the shortlist post FA Cup final was created with all this analytics, the analytics team, the criteria, everything. And then you finally get to like how they got to Amorim. They're like, well, we just decided it was Amorim. And they don't mention, there's no how of how they got from EPL proven 4-3-3 analytical based approach for appointment to Ruben Amorim, who is none of those things. They don't link that at all. There's no how. There's no why. It's all how. They talk about meetings in a villa outside the room. They don't talk about why they appointed Amorim or why they just departed from their analytical approach.
Well, they did. I know why, because the analytical approach was probably driven by Dan Ashworth being like,
yes,
this is how I would think about it. I would think about a manager who's proven in the EPL. We've seen how important that is. And at the same time, will maximize the players you already have at your disposal. That was how they came up with that shortlist. It's not a bad shortlist to be. Graham Potter shouldn't be there, but that's actually a pretty good short list. And then he was out. He was a persona non grata. He got the boot, and then they're like, fuck it, it's vibes.
Which they don't mention in the article.
Yeah, but you could tell
they
that's
don't
Ratcliffe.
Mention
based on the decisions made and him in the press, you could tell Ratcliffe was like, well, I like his vibe.
But they don't mention that in the article.
No,
so the whole idea is that like they don't, it's like they try to, and then they shine up all the signings. They go signing by signing when they sign Dutch players that Ten Hag wanted, and then they try to shine that up as
they didn't mention that though. They said
they did shine it up as like, hey, Wilcox wasn't in yet. Barada wasn't quite in yet. It's a really friendly to United article. The one thing they do say is when Amorim was interviewed by them, he said, "Why do I have to come now? Why can't I come at the end of the season?" Which I think was a valid point. United pushed for him to come mid-season. Barada also said he still thinks it's the right decision, even though it went horribly. Like my points on the article, it's worth a read, but it's very friendly to Ineos. It plays up the chaos and like how tough it was for them. Very defensive of the Erik ten Hag signings and keeping Erik ten Hag, making it kind of like they couldn't have got another manager. And like it doesn't talk about the Ashworth thing at all, where they departed from him and went with sort of Barada. It's just, I don't know. It just kind of shows United's trying to explain these decisions, and I'm not really buying the explanation put out there.
Well, we're watching. I mean, we're paying attention to this club so much, following every movement, every piece of news. It has been haphazard. It has been a little bit like, not thoughtful, a little reactionary. We've seen some of the decision making, and I think this article, in some ways, even though it's a puffy, not a full puff piece, but puffy piece, is that it's like it's all over the place. But it feels all over. It's like they went from here to here. You said right. They don't really explain how they got from one place to another, but the decision making is not consistent across like year 1 versus year 2. And I think it's because Sir Jim is like basically some old guy in Monaco making the calls, and him just overriding all of his executives. But anyway. Next bit of news, sir. Big news. Manchester United, Boxing Day fixtures released. And there's only one game?
Yeah, let's get into the fixture announcements. This has been, if you're a hardo, which we are, and, we actually have to book travel around, these games, which is insane. The fixture schedule for the holidays it's horrible. Boxing Day only has one game. It's going to be Manchester United versus Newcastle at Old Trafford. Usually Boxing Day features a full slate of games. In the case where Boxing Day lands on a Friday, you'd have a full slate of games Friday, and then maybe you'd have like Saturday, you'd have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday be a slate of games. But because of the broadcast deals, I think they have 33 weekends of football, so they're basically scrapping Boxing Day, the tradition, which is like obviously like pro tradition. Right.
Everybody's off.
And they're basically like dumping that and only adding one night game and then just doing a regular weekend, which is kind of breaking from tradition and something that we don't like. But another wrinkle to this is the fact that usually the schedule is insane in England. If you're an American and you're going over the pond to watch a game, like they schedule the games like 8 weeks before you go. So it's like you could be planning a game on a Saturday and then they reschedule it to Monday or reschedule it to Friday. You've had to move flights to be able to go to games. It's crazy. And they've yet to scheduled the fixtures in January, and this is coming out piecemeal. Usually December and January fixtures drop mid-October. It's November. They haven't even dropped the second half of January fixtures. Oh, by the way, that's the derby that we're going to. So all of our plans are in limbo, waiting for the television schedules to be figured out. This is like not how one of the top sporting leagues in the world should be behaving, throwing tradition to the wind and then just like piecemeal scheduling games like 6 weeks out before they're played. It's kind of insane.
And it's kind of what's been going on recently, unfortunately, with the league just being a little bit all over the place. This, 7 years ago when it was a Friday night Boxing Day, and that's kind of how they defended it. Oh, it's because of the way the game fell and the way Boxing Day fell in the days of the week. They had a full slate of games. They also blamed UEFA because of the expansion of the European competition, left up more, like less opportunities to get this game in. And at the same time, we're not even talking about Manchester United getting screwed, which is that we have an absurd amount of like Monday away games, 8 p.m.ers local time, 12 p.m. Pacific,
back to back,
like back to back. Like we're not going to be in Old Trafford on a weekend for like a month and a half. And they're just kind of all over the place, especially if you're traveling fans. You're used to this, but usually like they set a date. They're going to set the next 2.5 months of fixtures. We know who they're going to play, but the day of the week and the time for TVs. And they're doing it on a roly-poly basis.
You have to just figure it out.
I don't think they respect fans at all. I think they have no respect for fans. And I also think they have disdain for Manchester United as a club. They're like, let them travel. We're not in Europe. So maybe they want us to have show like big games on Monday night. But it's tough for local fans who have to go down to, wherever away on the road and then expect to get home on a Monday night.
There's no excuse because
the challenges of the trains as is.
UEFA in the first rounds of the Europa League and Champions League scheduled all their fixtures through February in August. And so they know the UEFA schedule already. And They're just like, by the way, these fixtures, the Boxing Day fixtures, are 2 weeks late. They promised October 15th is when they're going to release the fixture changes. They only did 4 games. Then they're doing it piecemeal. This has never happened before. They usually release them all on the scheduled date for the TV networks. Now they're delaying them. It's going to seriously impact our travel. How can you be a serious league if like you have people traveling all across the world to watch this sport and you're going to wait till like 6 weeks before the game's played and then pick a date and time, move it to a Monday? By the way, Friday and Monday, I don't love that. Saturday, Sunday is where the EPL should be. I don't get Friday. I hate Friday games. I understand Monday Night Football. You get the Sky Sports analysis, etc.
Money.
But like having United play back-to-back Monday nights, that's insane. Like I feel like this is a little chaotic. They're diluting the brand. They're pissing off international fans who need to travel for these games. Like you and me have flights that we've yet to book because we don't know if the game's going to be on a Saturday or if the game's going to be on a Sunday. By the way, this game is in January. It's already November. It's like schedule it already. Pick a time. Like what? They're waiting on no one. They're waiting on no one. They know the UEFA games. They're just like hanging out, not scheduling these games. You're a top, like this should be the best league in the world, and they should be accommodating fans in tradition as Boxing Day as well as international fans traveling. I just am sick of this whole like fixture mystery. By the way, games can just get moved as well due to cup competitions, etc. Like the amount of things you have to, the minefield you have to walk through to see a game is insane.
It doesn't feel like they're really intent on expanding the sport internationally. Like if you look at these decisions, they really, obviously they screw local people, but they also screw people who are trying to visit, which is
Really
much more
screw locals,
complicated.
bro.
Harder to get a train from Manchester to the South Coast. Imagine coming from California, coming from Asia, coming from wherever. It's like you have a lot of logistics that come together. Then
You
have
don't
to
even
get
know
from,
when the
you have
game's
to
gonna
get
be.
from there to London, like London to Manchester. The trains now are a mess in England. So I don't think they're taking the same kind of like intentional actions of being broad funnel for new fans like the NFL is, playing games in Madrid. They're not changing games around. So get it together. Also United, well, in the next, just like the schedule we have for the next 2 months in terms of when we're playing, it's absurd. So
No, but
FA, we're
the
on
key
to,
there that you say about the NFL is like EPL could look at, obviously being the American Red Devils, maybe a little biased. So maybe people in England hate on us. The way they do it in the NFL, if you don't know, is games at the end of the season that are in prime time. If both teams suck, they move it out of prime time and they put in one important game in prime time.
Which makes
so it'd be
sense.
like, hey, Monday night's the prime time game. We want that to be Chelsea-Liverpool with the title on the line. So they just move the one game. It's like only like for 3 slots at the end of the season, and it's for like one prime time. It's like I just feel like this is just way too all over the board. Scheduling it the way they do is just so chaotic, and we got to find something better, especially throwing tradition to the wind, sir.
And be aware before you travel. Be aware if you go to, you make sure you know when the game is. It happened to you in Spain too. It happens. Look at all those kickoff times, sir. Of the next 10 games. How many APMs? It's crazy.
Not
Over half the
ideal. Not
games.
ideal. Something you didn't think you'd be talking about. Next bit of news here. We're talking worst take of the week. Worst take of the week comes from @wealth_United_. Quote, can't believe I'm saying this, but Hojlund is a better striker than Šeško, sir. You're a Hojlund fan, supported him big time at the club. What are you thinking here with this take? It's so early in Šeško's tenure. I feel like Hojlund had, 2 seasons, pretty much started every game last year with Ruben Amorim, and he's comparing him to Šeško, saying Hojlund's better. Obviously, Hojlund's had a good time in Italy, but is this fair?
I mean, I don't think it's fair. It's a totally different league. They're basically the same age. I like the upgrade we made. I like Hojlund. I thought we should have kept on to Hojlund. It probably makes more sense to have a Hojlund than a Xerxes. But that being said, we got Benjamin Šeško. He's got upside potential that Hojlund does not have. And at the same time, Hojlund's playing in Italy. He knows Italy. He's playing in a team that has a consistent coach where they've coming off winning the title. Like they're clicking. So him just slotting in. Also, he hasn't blown the doors off. They both have 2 goals in the league. He's got an extra goal. Extra 2 in Champions League football, which we're not playing. So I think Benjamin Šeško is going to get there. I think he has everything it takes. I think he needs this season. And the best thing about this season is that he has Cunha and Mbeumo to take some of the pressure off because they are EPL proven. They do know the league. They're ahead in their career. They're 26, 27 versus him who's 22. So I think we might regret losing Hojlund, but not today. Not today. I don't think he's like crushing
No, I
it.
mean, you shouldn't have. To compare the two, it's a bad take. It's also a bad take to say, dude, Hojlund scored 3 EPL goals in his first season at United. Sesko is well on his way to like break that mark. You have to also
3 last
adjust
year.
the timeline. You also have to adjust the timeline a little bit here and be like, okay, well, this is Seshko's first year. Ultimately, like, can he match Hojlund? I think he can, right? And obviously, he hasn't even started every single game. So For me, if you look at the advanced stats, though, that's kind of where you're seeing the difference, right? This is both Italy and the EPL. Hojlund obviously excelling in the aerials. We already knew that was his thing. Hojlund has more touches in the box. He has more assists. He has a higher conversion rate. He has better non-penalty XG. But you're looking at Italy versus the EPL.
Also, if you are a real United fan and you're watching closely, Šeško has been in and out as starter. You know, we were playing Mount early on, and then he dropped out when Mount got hurt, so Šeško stopped up next. You know, Hojlund actually did get 10 EPL goals in his first season at Manchester United, and then dropped down, had 3 or 4 last year.
Yeah, so
Can he hit 10? I mean, I think Šeško could hit 10. Thing is, he's not even getting service. The thing same thing with Hojlund last year. He wasn't going to have service. He had a lot of bad touches, but Šeško is not getting crosses, which is his best area, even in an underperforming year thus to date. So it's like,
yeah, but if you compare Šeško this year to Hojlund last year at United, it's like no comparison. Šeško's already better than Hojlund as far as conversion, non-penalty XG, and aerial threat, touches in the box, etc. But that was a horrible year. So yes, I think Italy's hard to measure. Once you go to a different league, you have to look at what Hojlund did in the EPL and then measure that to Šeško to give him a chance. Also, he barely got started, so this criticism of Šeško, it's the first year's a write-off, especially for a young player coming from a different league. He's going to figure it out. He's a freak. He has the pace. Look at his runs. His runs in behind are great. His hold-up play is going to improve. He's just going to get better. I think he's a freak. Header goals from Šeško. That right foot is lethal. We're going to see it all come together, but I don't need to compare the two. It's just like, hey, Hojlund, best of luck. Šeško's the new man. Let's go with him.
Hojlund was always respectful. I'm actually rooting I hope he does well. Šeško's our guy. He's going to be a great player for the future. He has everything he needs. We always do this horse wrangle it, who's
Šeško's
better.
getting it already. I'm like,
because that's what they do. We always talk about Fabian Wirtz. He has more goals. Fabian Wirtz looks like the worst signing ever. You see some of the passes he was making? He looks like one of the worst players. He has no capacity. Let's get into that. Sir, what do the fans think? Are they happy coming off this 2-2 draw against Forest at the City Grounds? Let's see.
All right, let's get into some fan questions here. You send us your fan questions at USA Red Devils on Twitter. We will read them out on the pod. React live at KGel Joel. Still a lot to work on. I think a few players look tired after 60 minutes. Have they trained too hard lately? 2 soft goals conceded, but spectacular Ahmad volley saved a point. Both goals after a corner not long ago. We were harmless at corner kicks. That's good. I think that's a very
good point.
Even take. Set pieces are effective. He's right about the tired. That's about where United, I think, is. It's like we're soft. We get a week, and we're not seeing. I thought we'd be seeing a little more jump. Tottenham is the game. You should be seeing much more jump. They're in Europe. We're not. You should see that come this weekend. At Michael McGillis, not a great performance, but a point at the City Ground against a tough, inspired Forest side is nothing to be ashamed of. Fair result.
It wasn't great, but it was a big point to pick up given the fact that we didn't play great. And sometimes, good teams have to find a way to grit it out. And it's on to the next one. Like you said, Spurs, grudge match. We have to do it. Can't let them win 5 in a row. But this is not an instant classic by any means. This is not the Liverpool game or even the Brighton game.
At Maybaugh13, sirs, it was the trappiest of trap games, and we're fortunate to steal a point. Feel like the whole team put in a 5 out of 10 on the Spurs. Look, that's probably a harsher view, but, on to Spurs, I think, is the mentality. Fairway Freddy, the insistence on 2 left-footed players on the right just slows the attack and reduces space. Not having wingbacks in a wingback design system is perplexing. All know Cass is cooked on 60 minutes, and Bruno's not as effective in a deeper role. Some good players, but a poor coach. Look,
got him.
I don't disagree. We do not have wingbacks in a wingback system.
Second half was you wanted to pluck your eyes out because we had an extra defender on again.
Also,
chasing the game again.
We didn't create enough to win. That's a game that you should be thinking we should win it. I feel like the post-game comments of not losing it. Manchester United has the talent to win it. We just need to go all in. It needs to be a little more, like you said, go kitchen sink. Well, the manager's stubborn. And I was talking to Alex, I said, I think he's more stubborn than Ten Hag.
Yes.
Ten Hag was stubborn. I think he's
And he would
much
change
more of
it.
a player's coach. I think the players buy into him more,
they like
but
him
I
a
think
lot
he
more.
might be a little more stubborn when it comes to having that many defenders on the field. At 33_63, Forest was due for a good game and a win at home. They played good. We still got a point. Great way, great view. Randy Scrandy, we're going to end it on a negative here. Slow, uninspiring, boring. Lucky to get a point. Credit for getting back into it. Unforgivable to give up those quick goals. Deloach should never see the pitch in a United shirt again. Annoyed is the right emotion.
People are frustrated. Yeah.
2 goals in 3 minutes,
was
bro,
bad.
against Forest.
Those
give me a
goals-
break. Like those comedy errors.
We've seen that before, and we've seen that before from the side. But credit for getting back into it. I think that's also fair. It's like, hey, this could have gone way differently last year. Could have been 4-1. You know, like we've seen that as well. It's all about Spurs. Is this team got gumption? Is this team got some dogs in it? If they do, they're going to be like,
team
yo,
got the guts.
dude, you remember last year? Remember that team that beat us 4 times and in the final, and like you rolled over?
No, that's the signal.
This is it, dude.
The
This is a huge game.
The signal is any team with a backbone would dominate Spurs.
Like,
you got extra rest.
Yep.
And you should be stewing. If you're a dog, you should be stewing about that final, and there should be nothing that will let Spurs get you at the weekend. So let's hope that we can pull it out, sir. It's been a great podcast. 3 wins and a draw. We should be a little happier, I think we're just,
expecting more.
hated, adored, never ignored. Manchester United. Let's win some trophies. European football, please. Let's go. You like the podcast, support us on Patreon. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/AmericaDevils. Check out our store as well, americadevils.store. Newsletter is free. Get the top Manchester United stories in your inbox, americadevils.com/newsletter. Like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, subscribe there. Goes a long way. Check out our socials. Like, support it. We're completely for fans by fans. We got no private equity backers. Nobody's hacking the algorithm from the ARD. Fans and voices of the people, we need you to support the pod. Get the word out there. It helps us grow, and it's free, so just do it. If you're listening to this podcast this far in, just go like and subscribe. Help us out. Sir, top 10 cities last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? Los Angeles, California, Dublin, Ireland, Chicago, Illinois, Oslo, Norway, New York, Dallas, Texas, Brooklyn, New York, Washington, D.C., Sydney, Australia, and last but not least, Melbourne, Australia. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. Couldn't do it without you. Big games coming thick and fast. We got Spurs on the weekend. Grudge match. I hate Spurs. Now I hate them. There's no reason to. They used to be a nothing club. Lads, it's Tottenham.
Bro, I hate not
Lads,
winning.
It's Tottenham.
I hate not winning.
Remember?
It doesn't matter who it
1-0
is.
Bilbao,
It's all right. I think
21st of May.
I think everyone's beaten us. I think everyone's done the double
Everybody.
over us. I think we
Double,
finished
4 in a row.
15th. I think we just need to win. At all
Win, baby,
costs.
win. Let's go.
Pride of all Europe. Everyone have a great week. We'll hit you on the other side.